When we think of Ralph Lauren, our minds automatically connect to fashion, style, and luxury. But what many don't know is that the famous clothing designer actually owns an empire that goes far beyond the runway and exclusive collections. Ralph Lauren is, in fact, one of the largest landowners in the United States, with $1 billion fortune invested in farms and ranches that reflect his deep connection with nature and American culture. In a world where luxury and tradition often collide, he has created a legacy that blends his passion for fashion with the tranquility and challenges of the countryside. In today's video, we will explore Ralph Lauren's impressive portfolio of farms, known to many as one of the largest and most exclusive in the country. From vast tracts of land in Colorado to historic ranches in strategic locations, Ralph Lauren has been a visionary in incorporating his vision of style and comfort into rural living, not just as a clothing designer, but as someone who built an empire based on the aesthetic of the American countryside. Stay with me until the end and discover all about the billion-dollar farm empire that Ralph Lauren has built and how he managed to combine his roots in fashion with the vastness of rural landscapes. Ralph Lauren's journey into the rural world began long before he became known as a fashion icon. Born in New York, young Ralph Lauren grew up in a modest environment, but he always had a fascination with the American way of life, particularly that connected to country living. From a young age, he became captivated by the landscapes of the American West, which would later inspire many of his collections, as well as his desire to acquire large tracts of land. In the mid-1980s, Ralph Lauren purchased his first rural property, the RL Ranch, located in Colorado, one of the most famous ranches that today is part of his empire. He didn't acquire the ranch just because it was an investment opportunity, but because he had always been drawn to the cowboy lifestyle and the culture of the American West. The purchase of the RL Ranch marked the beginning of a bigger dream. Not just building an empire of rural properties, but also giving them a signature of his unique style. Alongside his passion for fashion, Lauren began designing homes and cabins that combined the luxury of his creations with the rustic charm of the landscapes around him. What started as a small land purchase soon transformed into an empire of farms and ranches, now representing a large portion of Ralph Lauren's fortune. He didn't just turn these properties into symbols of his success, but he also used the countryside as a way to reconnect with his roots and create a space where he could live according to his own values of freedom, elegance, and simplicity. The RL Ranch, located in Colorado, is the crown jewel in Ralph Lauren's portfolio. With 17,000 acres of land, the ranch is a true reflection of its owner's life philosophy, a mix of tradition, luxury, and a deep respect for the natural environment. For Ralph, the ranch is not just a property, but a place where he can live his ideals, away from the hustle and bustle of urban life. Yet still connected to his legacy in the fashion world, the ranch features a wide variety of elements that capture the essence of the American West lifestyle, something that has always fascinated Ralph Lauren. Country homes, cabins, and even teepees are built with natural materials and rustic designs that respect the local landscapes. Every corner of the RL Ranch has been carefully designed to reflect the designer's aesthetic, incorporating his love for nature and the traditional style of the countryside. While offering all the comforts of a luxury home, the RL Ranch is not only a place for leisure, but also an environmental conservation hub. Ralph Lauren has invested in wildlife and flora preservation practices, ensuring that the land and wildlife surrounding the ranch are preserved for future generations. This commitment to nature not only strengthens his connection to the countryside, but also reflects his long-term vision of sustainability, both in his properties and the collections he creates for his brand. After the success of the RL Ranch, Ralph Lauren expanded his rural empire, acquiring several other large properties over the years. His portfolio today includes ranches in Montana, Wyoming, and other parts of Colorado, with a total expanse surpassing 60,000 acres. Each of these properties has a unique feature, but all reflect the same vision, a balance between luxury and respect for nature. Ralph Lauren didn't just acquire these properties for their monetary value, but because they offered something more. They were places that allowed him to live the life he always dreamed of, in total harmony with nature, surrounded by breathtaking landscapes and a lifestyle that was simple yet sophisticated. On many of these properties, he himself developed restoration and building projects, creating homes that blend the charm of the countryside with the refined elegance of his creations. As the years passed, Ralph Lauren continued to expand his horizons, viewing these properties not only as an extension of his own legacy, but also as an opportunity to inspire others to appreciate life in the countryside. He has become somewhat of an ambassador for the rural lifestyle, using his farms and ranches as a model for how the countryside can be elegant and contemporary without losing its essence. Ralph Lauren's presence in the rural real estate market goes beyond his purchases and property renovations. Over the years, he's been a major influencer of the rural lifestyle, responsible for bringing a new perspective to the design and functionality of farms and ranches. His properties are not just vast stretches of land. They are examples of what it means to live sophisticatedly in the countryside, something that once seemed reserved only for a select elite, but which he managed to democratize with his design vision over time. Ralph Lauren has become a reference in the rural real estate market, with his countryside-inspired style being replicated in various parts of the world. His rustic yet luxurious style has served as an inspiration for architects, designers, and even property buyers seeking to live a simpler life, but with the luxury that his creations have always provided. His farms have become a reference for those who want to live closer to nature without sacrificing comfort, elegance, and sophistication. But Ralph Lauren's influence goes beyond the farms he owns. The impact of his style and philosophy can be seen in how he has revitalized the idea of countryside living, making the concept more attractive and accessible to a new generation of buyers. In doing so, he has not only built a real estate empire, but also helped reshape the vision of what is possible when combining the charm of the countryside with the needs and desires of the modern world. Ralph Lauren is more than just a fashion designer and landowner. His connection with nature and his commitment to sustainability are key to understanding the philosophy behind his rural properties. Over the years, he has been dedicated not only to building an empire of farms and ranches, but also to ensuring that these lands are preserved and that the local fauna and flora can thrive. One of the key features of his properties is the way he has integrated sustainable practices into the management of his land. At the Double RL Ranch, for example, he implemented soil conservation techniques, reforestation, and watercourse preservation, creating an environment where biodiversity can flourish. These practices are not just a passing trend. They are part of a long-term vision to ensure that the lands he owns remain productive and ecologically balanced for future generations. Ralph Lauren also invests in wildlife preservation projects, aiming to protect endangered species and promote the health of local ecosystems. On his properties, hunting is strictly controlled, and he has invested in natural habitats for wild animals, ensuring that his land is not just a place for recreation, but also a space where nature can continue to thrive without excessive human intervention. Through his rural properties, Ralph Lauren has managed to leave a lasting legacy that goes far beyond his fashion creations. The impact he has made in the world of farms and ranches is not only visible in the design of the properties or the way he manages his lands, but also in how he has helped redefine the concept of rural life for new generations. For Lauren, the countryside represents freedom, authenticity, and a return to simplicity. These properties, with their luxurious country homes and stunning landscapes, are not only a reflection of his personal style, but also a way to reclaim a way of life he believes to be essential for mental and spiritual well-being. Moreover, he has become a sort of mentor for those wishing to transition to country living, inspiring both those who want to acquire rural properties and those who seek to cultivate a deeper connection with nature. Ralph Lauren's influence can also be seen in how he has encouraged other celebrities and entrepreneurs to invest in farms and ranches, making rural living more accessible and desirable for an audience that once saw the countryside as something distant or even obsolete. He has undoubtedly been one of the driving forces in bringing new light to the countryside, showing that it is possible to live a simple and authentic life without sacrificing luxury and sophistication. Now that you know about Ralph Lauren's rural empire and his incredible connection with the world of farms and ranches, I hope you've been inspired not just by the luxury and beauty of the properties, but by the philosophy he brought to the countryside. Ralph Lauren has transformed rural life into a symbol of sophistication and elegance, showing the world that it is possible to live a simple and authentic life while still staying connected to what is truly valuable: nature, freedom and authenticity. But this is just the beginning. If you've been fascinated by Ralph Lauren's legacy in the countryside and want to learn more about other famous farm and ranch empires around the world, stay tuned. In our next video, we'll dive into more stories of great rural properties and how they've become symbols of status, sustainability, and lifestyle. Don't miss it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Celebrities Farm channel. It really helps us continue bringing amazing content about the fascinating world of celebrity farms and ranches. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. See you next time!